Hello, my name is Davit Gasparyan, a Russia researcher at the Institute for the Study of War, and today I'm going to discuss the evolving situation in Georgia following Georgia's October 26 parliamentary elections. Georgia, a country of nearly 4 million people situated in the South Caucasus and bordering Russia and the Black Sea, held its most recent parliamentary elections on October 26, 2024. These elections, the first since 2020, will shape the future Georgian government, as Georgia is a parliamentary democracy. Georgia has a long-standing, constitutionally enshrined aspiration to join the European Union and NATO, a strategic vision that intensified after Georgia's pro-democracy movement called the Rose Revolution in 2003, which presented a pivotal movement that opened the door to stronger ties with the West, but also heightened tensions with Russia. The Kremlin responded to Georgian people's efforts to associate with the West by waging a war against Georgia in 2008 and subsequently occupying Georgia's Abkhazia and South Ossetia regions, nearly 20% of Georgia's total territory. Despite Georgia's pro-Western stance and history of Russian aggression, the ruling Georgian Dream Party, in power since 2012, has increasingly aligned its domestic policies with Kremlin rhetoric, while simultaneously pursuing closer foreign relations with Russia. Georgia's October 2024 parliamentary elections were the first since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, and the first since Georgia obtained European Union candidate status in December 2023, making it a landmark election. The election's outcome was poised to determine the direction of Georgia's geopolitical future. Would Georgians choose to continue with the Georgian Dream's anti-Western rhetoric and anti-democratic trajectory and possibly abandon its long-standing policy of aligning with the West? Would Georgia deepen economic and political ties with the Kremlin in line with pro-Kremlin positions? Or would Georgians reaffirm their Euro-Atlantic integration aspirations? Georgia's ruling Georgian Dream Party ultimately won a simple majority of around 54% in the Georgian parliamentary elections held on October 26, 2024, according to results that the opposition is currently challenging. International election observers, Western officials, and the Georgian opposition are contesting the election results and are reporting systematic violations ranging from violence, voter intimidation, violation of voter secrecy, instances of ballot stuffing, vote buying, violations of neutrality zones around polling stations, attacks against opposition members and offices, and double voting, among other irregularities. Georgian President Salome Zurabishvili and the Georgian opposition could seek to contest the results of the Georgian parliamentary elections through legal mechanisms and demonstrations. The opposition already called for an initial successful round of peaceful demonstrations on October 28, gathering tens of thousands of people in the capital of Tbilisi to emphasize that they will not accept the likely unfair election results. The opposition called for widespread investigations, international support, and snap elections free of Georgian Dream interference. They also encouraged Georgian civil society to continue to gather evidence of systematic voting irregularities. Russian officials, Russian state media, and Russian military bloggers quickly celebrated the Georgian Dream's victory, indicating that the Georgian Dream is the Kremlin's favorite candidate. Russian actors also immediately started discrediting the opposition movement and protest. The Russian information space falsely accused Georgian opposition of planning a coup d'etat in cooperation with Ukraine and the West. The Georgian opposition has neither called for a coup nor resorted to violence and is instead practicing its legal right to peaceful assembly while also seeking to challenge election results through legal mechanisms based on valid evidence of election integrity violations. The European Union may further halt Georgia's EU membership progress or additional steps in response to allegations of widespread electoral irregularities. Georgia's government, under the Georgian Dream Party, already demonstrated a pattern of democratic backsliding even before the unfair elections. EU officials have previously repeatedly voiced concerns over Georgia's democratic backsliding and recently suggested that Georgia must conduct free and fair parliamentary elections, among other requirements, in order to successfully resume its current halted EU accession process. Some Western countries, including EU member states, the UK, and the US, already have frozen funding to and cooperation with Georgia because of Georgia's democratic backsliding, and Georgian authorities' failure to address election fraud reports will likely continue this trajectory and further harm Georgia's Euro-Atlantic aspirations. Several Western officials voiced concerns regarding the Georgian elections results, with some indicating that they will assess bilateral relations with Georgia, for example. The Kremlin likely leverages the Georgian Dream's increasingly Kremlin-aligned rhetoric and increasingly Russia-friendly foreign policy to expand Russian influence in Georgia and the broader South Caucasus, while showcasing Moscow's ability to coerce the foreign policy trajectories of post-Soviet countries. Russia will particularly leverage the Georgian Dream victory, Georgian political instability stemming from ongoing demonstrations, and Georgia's continued shaky relations with Western partners as an opportunity to expand Russian influence. Russia will likely enhance relations with a pro-Russian Georgian government in order to tap into connectivity and trade routes passing through the South Caucasus, while possibly using Georgian ports in the long term for its own Black Sea Fleet operations, which have been impaired due to enhanced Ukrainian capabilities to target Russian ships and Russian-controlled ports. Russia may also seek to support its war effort in Ukraine by using Georgia as a platform for sanctions evasions and to enhance Georgia-Russia trade relations at large. Finally, Georgia's increased alignment with the Kremlin would further cement the long-standing Russian portrayal of Moscow's now sovereign former colonies as vassal states, a framing that seeks to deter both domestic interest in Western cooperation and Western willingness to pursue closer relations with these countries. A victorious Georgian Dream party that pursues more Kremlin-friendly policies would also demonstrate a remarkable Kremlin capability to reverse decades of European integration efforts in a country that Russia has attacked and victimized, which would likely embolden Kremlin efforts to pursue hybrid operations and open aggression against Ukraine, Moldova, and other post-Soviet countries. Thank you for listening, and remember to follow ISW for more updates.